Hello everyone and welcome to this video on how to run a measurement invariance analysis in the free point-and-click software Jamovi. My name is Geiser, I'm an instructor with QuantFish. In this video I want to show you a great option that I discovered recently for running a measurement invariance analysis using multi-group confirmatory factor analysis for free using a point-and-click graphical user interface in the Jamovi software. So let's get started and let's see how this works. You can download Jamovi for free from the internet. It allows you to load all kinds of different data sets in different formats, including SPSS data, simple text format, and others. So in this case here, I already have my data file loaded. You can see on the left hand side, this data set contains 4 variables of substantive interest: y1, y2, y3, and y4. Those are indicators of factors in a confirmatory factor model. And then I also have a grouping variable, so a nominal variable that indicates group membership. In my example here, this grouping variable is a binary variable, so there are 2 different groups to be compared in a multi-group analysis with measurement invariance testing. Next, in order to perform measurement invariance tests, we pick the SEM option in Jamovi. If you don't have that module or if it doesn't appear here in your point-and-click or drop-down menu, then you can click on modules and you can find it there in the Jamovi library. So here I already have my SEM module, and so when you click on that, there's 2 options, syntax and interactive, and so you want to pick interactive. And so that's what I have open here on my screen already, the SEM interactive module. And so next, what we have to do is we select our variables for the factors that we want to compare across groups. And so in this case, I have 2 indicators for my first factor. This is here by default called endogenous, because this could be an SEM with latent regressions as well, which we don't want to do in this case. So we can simply relabel this and just call this F1 for factor 1. And then we can go down and we can select the second factor here that's called exogenous 1, and we can relabel that as F2. And then we can drag down our other 2 variables, y3 and y4, as indicators of F2. And so then so far we only have a simple single group confirmatory factor model with 2 factors that are correlated and where each factor has 2 indicators. And you can see here that this model for the overall group, our user model, or for the overall sample, fits the data very well with a chi-square p-value of 0.667. So the model is not rejected for the overall sample. However, that's not what we want here. We want a multi-group analysis where we can test, first of all, measurement invariance across groups. And so we can do that by clicking our group variable here on the left-hand side and moving that into the field below multi-group analysis factor. So when we put that here, and then we click into our output window again, then you can see the output now changes. And so now Jamovi performs a multi-group analysis. You can see that from the fact that the chi-square here has changed. Now we have a chi-square with 2 degrees of freedom and a p-value of 0.892. So the model also fits very well in each group. And so what kind of model is this? This is a configural model. So we can see that when we take a look at the estimates, here you can see they are now presented by group. And so here we have group 1 in the measurement model with the factor loadings in the upper half of this table. And here you can see the loadings for y4 and y2 are 0.587 and 0.873 respectively, and in group 2 they're different, 0.937, 0.794. So the loadings are not equal. So this is the configural measurement invariance model where no parameters are constrained to be equal across groups. Also, none of the other parameters here are constrained, as you can see when you scroll to the intercepts table or other tables. So this is a configural model, and that's a good model to test first, because if this model already doesn't fit, then it doesn't make sense to proceed with more restricted measurement invariance model. So it's a good thing here that this model is not rejected based on the chi-square p-value, so we can proceed and we can test additional invariance models. Now, how do you do that? In order to do that, we have to go back to the left-hand side and scroll down to other options here. You can see there are a whole bunch of options, and one is multi-group analysis. So when we click on that, then we can select different equality constraints. And so typically after the configural invariance model, we want to proceed with a model that constrains the factor loadings to be equal across groups. That is also known as a weak factorial invariance model or a metric invariance model. So in order to do that, we click on loadings, and then we click into our output window again, or we wait a second, and then you can see that now the weak or metric invariance model is being computed by Jamovi, and you can see here that the p-value for the chi-square is still really good, 0.834. Now the model has 4 degrees of freedom because we save 2 loading parameters that are now set equal across groups, and so you can see that that is also a well-fitting model. And what is nice is that we also get a chi-square difference test here, and so you can see that those chi-square difference tests here also are non-significant in the constraints score tests section here. None of those are significant. So this shows that the additional restrictions on the loadings are also supported by the data. And so then we have a weak invariance model or metric invariance model, and we can proceed to additional tests. But before we do that, we should check the loadings to make sure that they really are set equal across groups. And so you can see that in the estimates table measurement model. So you can see here now Y4 has a loading of 0.74 in group 1, and so does Y4 in group 2. It's also 0.740, 740. So those are set equal. And then also Y2 has a loading that is constrained to be equal across groups. In both groups it's 0.814. So that looks good. And then we can go back to the input screen, and we can now proceed with an invariance test of the intercept. So that would be the next step, that we would test intercept invariance after loading invariance. That is called a strong factorial invariance model or a scalar invariance model. And so when we do that and we click in our output window again and go up, we can see, we can find the chi-square test again. You can see the chi-square now has 6 degrees of freedom, and the p-value is still good looking, 0.703. So also the scalar model is not rejected. And you can see none of the chi-square difference tests in the next table are statistically significant at the 0.05 level. So none of these equality constraints here is rejected by the data. So that's great. Also, a scalar or strong factorial invariance model is supported by the data. Why is that a good thing? Because that allows us to make comparisons of latent means. So let's take a look at those and see if we find them here in our output. You can see you can't find them here. There are no means given for the latent variables by default. So we have to go over to the input screen. And so when we go to parameters options, we find that under intercepts, we have mean structure activated, which is good. We have observed variable intercepts, which we already saw in the output file. But now we also need to activate latent variables. And so then when we do that and we wait a second, we should find a table somewhere with latent means in those two groups. Let's see if those appear. And so you can see they appear now in the intercepts table. So here we can also find F2 and F1. And so now you can compare those latent means across groups under the assumption of strong or scalar factorial invariance. So those latent variable means can be compared across groups here because now the variables have equal intercepts in both groups. Next, we would test for equality of latent means. We can click here the latent means equality constraints. And then you can see now the means in both groups are set equal for F1 and F2. And so in addition to the intercepts, now the latent means are also equal. And the question is this supported by the data? So we have to scroll back up to the chi-square and you can see that hypothesis is not supported because now the chi-square has a p-value of 0.001, so it's rejected. And also those constraints here you can see lead to significant chi-square difference tests. So overall that is not acceptable. So latent means cannot be constrained to be equal. When we take that constraint away again, then we have our strong invariance model which fits the data adequately. So you can see that that is supported by the data. So this model that is not rejected by either of these, by any of these chi-square tests or chi-square difference tests. Another hypothesis that is often tested is the hypothesis of strict invariance, where the error variances for the observed variables are also set equal across groups. That can be tested by clicking on residuals here. So the residuals are the error variances associated with the observed variables. And you can see that that hypothesis is still okay. At least here overall, we have a model with a chi-square that is still not significant, but you can see that there are some of the difference tests here that are significant. So this is something that may be questionable. So perhaps not all of these error variances are equal across groups. And that's not critical for comparisons of latent variable parameters. So those error variances don't have to be equal. Typically, we are satisfied when we have strong invariance with equal intercepts, equal factor loadings, and then we can compare latent means. And so that's typically what we care about most. You can see also that Jamovi allows you to constrain other latent variable parameters. You could take a look at latent variances and whether they're equal across groups, latent covariances. In structural equation models, you could test residual covariances and regression coefficients for equality across groups. So that's also very useful. And you can use threshold, you can look at threshold invariance when you have ordinal data, so when your items are not continuous. I hope you found this video useful to learn about how to conduct measurement invariance tests using multi-group CFA in the Jamovi software, and I'll see you next time.